Hi, hello again. This is Dr. Karl Hanson from Infinity Health, and I'd like to do another video today on pharmacy and medication costs. A very complicated situation, and one that meets with a lot of consternation with people, and for good reason. Um, One thing to point out here is that pharmacy or medication costs are one thing. So a product may take $1 per pill to manufacture. That's the cost. And cost also has to do with research and development. So a pharmaceutical company has to spend a lot of time and money going through FDA processes, etc., to cover the production of the product. So it may cost $1. Now, if the production cost is $1, but they charge $3, remember, the charge is just something that somebody just makes up. They're just going to decide we're going to charge this. Right. So confusing cost and charge, they're really two different things. But we'll kind of go into that here just a bit here. How much a drug costs? We can't afford drugs anymore. Well, that's not really true. Most medicines that we use, and I know because, as many of you know, I dispense medicines from my office. I give people medicines, and if they need 90-day supplies, and we'll take care of that. Now, a lot of medicines are fairly inexpensive. So if I have a patient who has diabetes, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol, and I need to put them on 3 medicines for diabetes, 2 for blood pressure, 1 for cholesterol, I can do that at a wholesale level of probably less than $25 a month. So you can understand then that that actually sounds pretty good, that I can supply somebody for $25 a month for this. So, however, if you try to get those same medications, albeit generic, through your pharmacy, that would cost considerably more. Pharmacies have employees, they have staff, they have a lot of stuff they have to pay for. But there's other hidden costs that go on in this system beyond just the cost of a pharmacy running a business. For example, there are, let's pick a diabetic drug that, let's say, is $600 a month. And yes, there are such things, that a pill that costs $600 a month. It's a drug that's been around for, I guess, 15 years. It's nothing fancy. But somehow or another, it's still, if you're paying cash for it, it may cost, let's say, $500 a month. Well, that's still a lot. That's the cost, basically, of most people's insurance premiums if you pay for your own insurance. So that's ridiculous. Obviously, the drug didn't cost that amount to get produced, nor to distribute. But when a drug company comes out with a product, they know that there is a deep pocket out there to pay for these things. That deep pocket is the carrier or the insurance industry. They're not really insurance companies. Blue Cross, United, Cigna, Aetna. They're not really insurance companies. They call themselves that, but they're carriers. So the deep pocket, you know, the carrier will pay for the medicine. So it doesn't matter that a cash-paying patient who has no insurance can't afford a $600 drug. It just doesn't matter, because we can get pretty much all of our business through the insurance carriers that reimburse us for this drug. So that's where we set our price point. Whatever the market will bear, we'll set our price point at that. Well, you could go on to GoodRx or Blink or something like that, and one of those websites can help you get that $500 drug maybe for $300, possible, or maybe $350, but that's still expensive. But anyway, that's the cost and charge structure. Again, their focus are people who have insurance coverage. So I mentioned that the insurance carriers have the deep pocket. Well, of course, the insurance carriers don't have deep pockets. They simply have long arms. So the insurance carriers can take their long arms and reach into your pocket, the patient or the employer. So that's really where the deep pockets are, the employers, the businesses, and the individual patient. So remember, the insurance industry is not at risk here at all. No insurance company, no healthcare insurance company has gone, that I know of, has gone bankrupt. Right? They're not in any danger whatsoever. So that's the difference between charge. Now, sure, your drug manufacturer, make a drug, cost, FDA, approval process. You gotta have marketing, and there's a lot of marketing expenses. It's possible that marketing expenses for certain drugs may be more than the research and development phase of it. But then also, these are publicly traded companies. They have a profit line. You know, pharmaceutical companies' primary responsibility is to make money for their shareholders. not to cure the world. Now, that doesn't mean there's not altruistic people who exist in the pharmaceutical industry, but just know that that's not how prices are determined through altruism. And I think we all know that anyway. So nobody loses on the deal of making a $600 pill per day, $600 per month diabetic drug. The only person that loses is us, the patients, and especially the cash paying patients. So, so this, I dispense medicines from my office, and I mentioned already that I could get 6 medicines to cover somebody with multiple medical conditions for probably less than $25 a month. And for example, this is atorvastatin, this is for cholesterol. I get a 90-day bottle, and I would typically get it, a 90-day bottle for maybe, I'd say $4 for a 90-day supply, and then I will dispense it to one of my patients for, on average, a dollar markup. And that markup is simply related to, it's a fixed amount, it's related to licensing fees and stuff that I have and all that. But that's all. I mean, there's no other hidden costs or fees associated with that. Well, that transparency that I'm talking about is not present in the pharmaceutical industry or in the medication dispensing industry. There are quite a few hidden areas. One hidden area, and I've already talked about from the drug company standpoint, how much it costs to make a drug. Now I'm going to talk about the middleman. So you say, okay, I'll just buy a drug directly from the drug company. Well, no, of course it doesn't work that way. What I buy, it's not like buying the watermelon on the roadside stand. So if your insurance company has will have what's called a pharmacy benefit manager. So if you have one of the insurance carriers, or your employer has that for you, and you're insured, you actually, the pharmacy doesn't purchase, the pharmacy that you get your medicine from doesn't purchase the drugs from the manufacturer. Instead, they'll often purchase it from a pharmacy benefit manager, a PBM. And the way this works is that, in essence, the pharmacy benefit manager is what pays the pharmacy. So the pharmacy benefit manager is simply a middleman. They don't add any clinical value. They don't add any value at all. They're just a middleman. And of course, where there's a middleman, somebody else is making extra cash for doing essentially nothing. That applies particularly well to this situation. So, pharmacy benefit manager, what kind is that? Well, you may hear of them as Express Scripts, OptumRx, CVS Caremark. Those are some common examples of pharmacy benefit managers, and they make probably collectively $16-17 billion a year annually in revenue. So somebody's paying that. Guess who? The way they make a lot of their profits, the pharmacy benefit managers, these Express Script, Optum, etc. The way they make money is through a number of ways. Again, they don't generate any value, but they get rebates. So what has to happen is that a pharmacy benefit manager and your insurance company will say that, all right, so for all the diabetic medicines out there, we're only going to permit a small subset to be on our formulary. The formulary is the list of medications that are present that the pharmacy benefit manager will allow to be distributed to you and have it paid for. So if a pharmaceutical manufacturer wants to have their product on there, then if they want to have that privilege of having their new product on the PBM formulary, then the PBM formulary will say, okay, we'll purchase your product to have on our formulary. However, in order to entice us, to incentivize us to have your new drug on our PBM formulary, we are going to request a rebate. So we'll pay you for your drug, but we expect a certain amount in return. Now, this rebate in any other circle of common life would be called a kickback, but we're going to call it a rebate here because maybe that sounds cleaner. But again, medical industry is not too good with transparency and typically likes to call rebates because that sounds better than kickbacks. Anyway, so you say, well, that's great. That's great. My PBM, my insurance company doesn't have to pay full price for the product. I mean, they may have had to, but they get a rebate back. So, right, I'm going to see savings because of that rebate that came back. Well, no. You're essentially not going to see any savings on that. What will happen, though, is that difference, that rebate that the PBM gets from the drug company is going to be kept by the PBM. So that's a major source of profit line for the PBM. So basically they're getting a kickback for giving the drug company the right to have their product on the formulary, because if the drug company's product's not on that PBM's formulary, then it's not going to be used. So anyway, the other area of profit, no doubt, would be administrative fees. So when the PBM, so again, the PBM makes money off of rebates, kickbacks. They also make money off of administrative fees. Administrative fee would mean that if you go get a medicine from your pharmacy, the pharmacy then sends a claim to the PBM. Hey, Mrs. Jones got this medication. So now the PBM gets notified by this claim, and the PBM then reimburses the pharmacy. All right? But of course, whenever there's a claim going up and then a payment going down, there's transaction fees associated with that. And maybe those transaction fees aren't big, but considering the volume, the trillions of medication transactions that take place during the course of any year, there's a significant profit line in collecting administrative fees. And this is all automated. This administrative fees are not costing people time. Then there's the other aspect of where money's made is something called pharmacy spread, meaning that let's say you picked up this bottle of atorvastatin from the pharmacy, and the pharmacy was reimbursed by the PBM for $20. Well, that's the contract that the PBM has with the pharmacy, that every time you give a bottle of this, we're going to reimburse you $10. However, the PBM may have a different contract for that same medicine with the insurance carrier. That contract may tell the insurance carrier that every time we give out a bottle of this, that we will collect $20 from the insurance carrier. So the insurance carrier pays the PBM the contractually agreed upon reimbursement of $20. The PBM then pays the pharmacy, however, their separate contract of $10. So now the PBM has made a handsome profit because they have separate contracts for the same product. Now, neither side knows what that other contract is. That's kept in secrecy. Again, transparency is not one of the hallmarks of our current healthcare system, and this is yet again another perfect example why this particular medicine is so expensive, why I can give it to you for $4 or $5 for a 90-day supply. So anyway, so again, that's what we're looking at. You're looking at administrative fees, you're looking at rebates, and you're also looking at something called the pharmacy spread. So we just discussed the pharmacy spread. And in a sense, the pharmacy gets gypped at that level. It's hard to have a mom and pop pharmacy because the administrative aspects of this is so difficult. There's also other fees besides those three things I mentioned. There's also other things called direct and indirect remunerations, which is, again, intentionally clouded and nebulous set of charges and fees related to how much a generic price is set for certain products, and it's partly because there's legislation now to make it where a pharmacy has to tell you in some states whether or not you can actually buy this drug cheaper if you pay cash as opposed to if you go through your insurance and use copay. Another gimmick of the system you need to check with me on before you do anything. Any of my patients, you got to check with me before you get your medicines filled. I'm just telling you. I know more about this than you probably do, and if I can save you money on this, we're going to save you money. So now, I think another thing to remember is that some of the other financial games that people don't get is that if you pay a copay, so let's say this is another product and it's a $20 copay. If you pay cash for this product, it may be $5. Right, but they're not going to tell you that unless there's legislation saying they have to tell you that. But additionally, let's say this is the $600 drug per month, and you pay $20. You say, well, that's great. This drug only costs $20. Well, of course, the 600 minus 20 is 580. And where did that 580 cost go to? You just paid 20. Well, that 580 cost, your insurance company covered, your health carrier covered. So wow, you made off scot-free. Well, of course you didn't. The insurance companies, they're not insurance companies. They're just pass-through organizations. They collect your premium. They knock their 20-something% off the top to keep for themselves, and then they distribute the remaining premium dollar to pay for medical stuff. So the fact that the insurance company agrees to pay $600 or to accept $600 for this drug simply means your premium goes higher. I realize some people don't pay insurance premiums, but your employer does probably if you have an employer. So there is no free lunch, and just know if you don't understand half of this, that's the way the medication industry wants it to be. And the insurance industry in general. They don't want you to understand the gory details. If you're a member of Direct Primary Care, a member of Infinity Health, you know exactly how much we cost. You know everything. There's nothing out there. There's no hidden charges for anything. That's not the way the industry wants it. So just know that and become educated about this. So you'll know. I think people ought to know that they can get this for $5 and they can get a Z-Pack, azithromycin for infections for $3, from me, that it's easy. So just know it seems simple, getting a medication from the manufacturer and paying for it would seem like a simple process. It could be, but it's not. The complexity is intentionally that way because it makes many other organizations large sums of money the higher degree of complexity there is. I have no illusions that the folks in Washington, D.C. are independent enough because the insurance and pharmaceutical lobby is extremely prevalent, and the largest lobbies maybe in the world are present. I don't think our legislatures have it within them to know really what's going on. That's what we're trying to do at the direct primary care level. We're trying to be the docs. We're trying to reshape the system. We want to correct these things. I think that's the way it's going to happen. So anyway, if you're not a member, that's fine. Just want to give you the education. If you're a member of Infinity Health, please check with me on your medication costs and see if I can save you on them. You just have to let me know what list you want me to price for you. I know what you're taking, but I don't know what you're paying for it. So what they're charging you. So if you want to give me that list, be glad to go over it. I'd love to. It's half the fun of what we do, saving money. So anyway, thanks for joining us for another YouTube video. This one kind of long, kind of complicated, but I hope you got a little bit of information from it. Be more videos to follow, try to educate people. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, and you can see some other things that we put up on occasion. So anyway, thanks for joining us, and I hope to catch you in the near future. All right, thank you all.